And we're back! Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. I know I've been off a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Generally, the show is a weekly show, but we're kind of gauging it. It might not be every week during the summer, just because the host does a lot of things in the summer. But my guest this week, Mike Lush, making his second appearance. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.
No, great to have you back. I know you've been busy. I think we had you on in January.
Correct.
How you been since then?
Good. Since then just coaching, getting ready for the varsity baseball season and, trying to do the best that I can. Obviously when that time comes as a coach, you get busy and spend a lot of your time, getting ready for that, so. But it's been nice. Yeah, it's been nice getting ready for that now that the season's over and stuff. Have a little bit of downtime, but I've been hanging in there, just trying to get back into shape a little bit, and been trying to stay busy. So
nice. Now, I've seen a lot of posts, and we had a really cool picture of you to advertise the show. Was that like spring sports night?
Yeah, yep. So that was like our banquet, for the season, which was great. Had a good amount of kids and parents. We actually haven't, since I've been there like 5 years, we never had a banquet.
Oh, okay.
Like they stopped banquets, and so this was like our first banquet in the last 5 years. So it was a good turnout. It was great. A lot of good, a lot of parents, a lot of kids, and it was for like every sport for the spring. So like the auditorium was like filled, and it was just a nice atmosphere. It was really good.
Nice. Did they hand out like the varsity letters and stuff?
Yeah. So like if you're a first year player, they give you the letter. If you're a second year player, you get like a pin.
Yeah.
A third year, you get like a jacket. And then like your fourth year, you get like a plaque. So for us, like our team's a little bit different. We don't really have many kids that play for more than a couple seasons. So, but we did have one kid that was there for 4 years, which was nice. We got a plaque and like a standing ovation. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's always cool. I used to love that when playing sports in high school. It's the big, and all the sports are there together, and who's gonna get what.
It's definitely great. I like the way the athletic director does it, because every sport can kind of see other sports, get awards, or just you can recognize sports for the spring. Like when I was in high school, we had like our own banquet, so we didn't really get to see like track or softball or different other sports. So it was nice that they all can come together. I thought it was pretty cool.
No, those are special nights. I thought that picture. That's why I used it. I thought it was a cool picture.
Oh, thanks.
How did the season go?
Honestly, Dan, it was a great season. Just to give the recap, when I started my first year coaching, we couldn't even finish games. So like the team, we were just learning. Guys didn't really know positions. They didn't really learn. They didn't know the game. So we couldn't win games, right? So the first year we couldn't finish games. We'd finish in the third inning because it was just like by slaughter.
Yeah.
The second year, we couldn't finish, but we finished like 2 games. So that was kind of like we lost, but we finished 2 games. Third year, we got a chance to finish more than half the season playing. Fourth year, not also were we finishing games, but we won a game. We won one game, which was last year, and it was like just an unbelievable feeling for the kids. And so this year, the kids really kind of wanted to dedicate, their season of working hard and trying to get more than one win. So we ended up finishing the season with 6 wins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So to see the program build from not finishing games to having 6 wins, it was just an unbelievable feeling. So like I give a lot of credit to the kids. They were there every day working hard and doing drills and just really wanting to stay focused. So.
Yeah, no, that's a big jump for 1 year.
It was unbelievable jump, and it didn't just the city was like that. We got recognition from the city.
Oh, really?
We got recognition from like coaches from like from the league. Getting personal emails like, hey, what you've done for those kids have been unbelievable with like the amount of wins and what you guys done. It was just a big jump, from like the last several years to now, like the kids have learned so much.
No, that's awesome. I mean, because baseball, we always say, right, we're both softball players now. It's a simple game, but it's not. Like, I mean, it takes time to get those skills. Hitting a baseball is probably the hardest thing there is in sports.
Yeah, I mean, to learn the game, so like, being an athlete, right? You're an athlete, you played sports in high school. I was an athlete. I was blessed enough to play, college and high school as well. When you're an athlete, you can kind of pick things up relatively easy. But when you've never played the game before, it's difficult, especially baseball. So, like, for example, like we've had kids, like we would have a practice and I would speak to some of the players. Hey, listen, you're going to do me a favor. You're going to go out to left field and I want you to catch some fly balls. And like 4 of the kids would come to me and be like, hey, coach, where's right field? Or hey, where's left field? So like they were a little bit different than someone like you and I, where we kind of were athletic and grew up watching the game and playing the game. So like to be able to get 6 wins where kids didn't really know what they were doing in the beginning to like now all of a sudden not just playing left field, not just playing right field, but being able to go out and execute and catch a fly ball.
Yeah,
that was pretty amazing, So it took a lot of work, but I was really happy for the kids.
No, that's awesome. I mean, for a program to make that kind of jump, that's
awesome.
big. Like,
yeah, it was huge.
I don't think a lot of people understand. Like that's a lot of work goes into making that happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you have to do. When you're a coach, and I mean, I think a lot of coaches will attest to this and they'll understand it. But like when you're a coach, like you're just not just like a coach. Like, so for instance, like for an example, like if I go to work, right, and I punch out at 4 p.m. I'm done. I don't have to hear anything else. Like I'm good, right? Or like if you leave at 5, you just shut your phone off. You're good. I feel like with coaching, it's like you're a manager and you're a boss. Your phone stays on 24/7. And there's been multiple times where kids called me to ask me for favors or ask me to, hey, coach, I need help with this. And so the phone always stays on. So I feel like it's not, you don't just go to like practice and you like clock in and clock out. It's like more than that, So I think doing like a lot of team building activities and a lot of different things really kind of helped the team too. Like it wasn't just baseball, we did a lot of other things outside of baseball, which the kids started like to trust each other and like believe in each other, which was a great thing.
That's cool, and that's going to be memories that they'll have
always.
Forever,
and one thing about our team, Dan, that was great is like we're only losing like 1 senior. So like we still have like all the kids coming back for next year, and they're already talking about how like they want to win more than 6 games, and they want to put in the work and stuff. So it was really nice,
Now, because I was going to ask, what did the team accomplish their goals? Now, going from 1 win to 6 is a big jump. So I'm assuming that was one of the goals.
Yeah.
Was there any other goals that were fulfilled?
As a coach, I think I've said this in the last segment as well. Like, I don't care about wins and losses. That's not my job. Like my job is I'm going to teach you baseball and have you become a better baseball player. But for me, like a lot of our kids, they're not going to play college baseball. They might not go to college. So like for us, like I'm a little bit more different of a coach. I'm more of like I'm going to teach you about the real world, and like I'm going to try to help you become a better young man. And I think that we accomplished that this year with the guys, a couple of them going, or the 1 senior going to college, and a couple other kids interested in going to college, and just representing the city the right way. I think they've really accomplished that. So yeah, the 6 wins was great, but at the end of the day, from like day 1 to the end of the year, they've grown as like an athlete. They have grown as a baseball player, but more importantly, as like a student. They did well in the classroom. So it's just, I think that we've done really well, like just on all aspects, whether it's in the classroom or outside the classroom too, just representing your city as well too. So it was nice.
No, and and that's one thing too, to bring up the classroom. Like I remember like in high school, the hardest thing was going to school all day and then having to go to practice. Oh, because it's like your days, that's a long day for, I guess they're young adults in high school, but it's a long day.
I don't, as a coach too, I don't have like the luxury. I'm not like a teacher. Like I know you had some guests on that are coaches that might be teachers as well. They work in the school system. Like for me, I don't have that luxury. So like for me, like I have to like have my regular job. I got to complete that first before I can even go to practice. So a lot of times the kids get out of school like 1:50 or 2:10.
Oh yeah.
But we don't have practice till like 5 because I have to get out of work at 4 the time I get to practice and everything like that. So they're like sitting around waiting. So like think about being in school. And be like, I have practice at 3:30. You're done by 4:35 or 5:30, right? We don't stop practice till 5:30. So like they're at the school, like they're doing their homework. They're going to have lunch. They're doing different things. So like their whole day is like kind of taken because our practice ran a little bit later than usual. So I commend them to, they were great. There were no complaints. Nothing was bad at all. It was a good season, and I give them a lot of credit, the kids.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I did have that when I was coaching, like that time gap, because I worked too, and I'd have to get over there. And
it's tough.
I had another question, like how with a lot of the kids maybe not having a lot of experience, how do you decide? Like, how do you get your pitchers? Because that feels like that's one of the hardest things.
Great question. Yeah. So our team, At the beginning of the year, like I'll have we'll have we call it like an end class, like a classroom session. So what we'll do is we'll talk about like their goals. We'll talk about what they want to accomplish in the season, whether it's becoming like a better shortstop or like becoming a better second baseman or becoming a better hitter. And like one thing on the form that I give to them is like, I don't mind the players like picking a primary position that they want to play, but they actually have to, on our team, they have to learn every position.
Okay.
So the way that we do it is like, so we'll do like a bunch of practices indoor, and each kid actually, we have like these indoor mounds, and everyone has to like throw from the mound so we can kind of see everybody throw, because you might be a pitcher, you might not be. So everyone has to actually learn a different position. You're just not set to one position. So if I have a kid coming to me, I'm like, hey, I want to play shortstop only. Well, that's not going to work for us, because there might be a time that you need to pitch. Or there might be a time where, hey, I got to put you at second base or the outfield. It just depends on the game. So each kid learns every position on the field.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So we do it a little bit different. So I don't have the kids come in and say, oh, you're the shortstop. Okay, you're the center fielder. You're the right fielder. Oh, you're just a pitcher only. Doesn't work that way. You have to actually learn every position and try to be good at it, because we may need you.
No, that's cool. Yeah. That's good, because I always figured that's got to be like one of the toughest things. Like,
I mean, we've had kids that, I mean, can't throw. You know, if you evaluate a kid, I'm sure, like, when you were wrestling stuff, you can kind of see who has it and who doesn't have it. We had some kids that can't really throw, but it's like we just want to give them that opportunity. Or some kids might come like, hey, coach, I'm a pitcher. And they'll get on the mound and they throw 2 feet and can't reach the catcher. It's like, they're not pitchers, but we give them that opportunity. So we did have a bunch of good pitchers that kind of were surprisingly good, because we didn't know they can pitch until we seen them. So.
Do you ever see like just like raw talent that you're like, okay, that kid, he just got it?
We have 2 kids that just had moved from the Dominican Republic about 3 months ago, like before the season started. And they're pretty good players. You can kind of tell the difference between like them 2 compared to like the rest of the guys on the team. Like they have like the swag, I like to call it, they got the eye black. Mm-hmm. They got like the sliding sleeve and the back pocket. They got the batting gloves on the other side. They got they just looked the part. And they were good players, but that's kind of really what we had. We only had a few good players that kind of knew what they were doing. But yeah, you can kind of tell. And we had 2 of them this year that were like, all right, the kid's gonna be pretty good. So.
Yeah, that's always like a cool thing. It's just, and it's great just seeing like kids grow and learn the sport and all that.
That's the most rewarding thing. I mean, like I said, it's great 6 wins, but to be a great human being, a good role model to your city, but just to see them grow as a person, it was just like, that's like a win for me. Like, in that case, I'm 5-0 as a coach, all 5 years, right? So I'm 5-0 right now as a coach, just because every kid that we've had has grown and become a great person, whether it's getting a good job, whether it's working for the city. So I'm very lucky and blessed that we have such a good group every year.
No, I love that. And someone said character is what's important. Skills will only get you so far.
So far, correct.
I got to talk about this because seeing you've made a few posts about it. Can you tell me a little bit about this Kickball Fundraiser you're doing?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, we had a sponsor this year, and I want to give a shout out to the sponsor. It's called Aftermath. It's like an addiction program for people that have like issues. They go to this. It's a treatment center.
I've been to one.
Well, this individual has been unbelievable. Is by the name of Matt Gannum. He has been amazing throughout the whole season. He's given us some donations to get kids gloves and cleats. So I just want to say thanks to Matt and to your your company. I appreciate it so much. It's just the organization's unbelievable. So thank you. But they've been great. So he's donated a bunch of things to our team, and we got a bunch of things for the kids. But this kickball tournament is June 29th at 9 a.m. It's going to be at the high school. And it's just basically just a fundraiser for people to come out, and we're going to fundraise money for the team for next year, whether it's getting more like uniforms or gloves, cleats, because every year we have like different players, and a majority of the time they don't really have anything. So like we've had kids this year show up like in jeans, or they'd show up in like sweatpants. They don't have baseball pants. Yeah. So to be able to get them like a pair of pants, or give them, uniforms and things like that, We've been very, very blessed this year. Like, even like Merle, with like Merle Creations, I know she's been on the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Merle. She's she's given us, she made us, practice uniforms. So practice shirts,
Oh, wow, okay.
So it was like something like nice like that, where she's being able to give back, or so it was really, really, sweet and nice. But yeah, the kickball tournament's a great thing. So we have like about 6 to 7 teams. It's mostly going to be people in the city. We got like the Chelsea Police Department, Chelsea Fire, the Chambers of Commerce, a couple of the like the school committee is going to be in it. So it's just like people that are in the city that are going to donate and help and just be able to just fundraise money for things that we need for next year. So
No, I love that. Meryl is great. She also made the first ever Let Freedom Ring sweatshirt.
yeah, unbelievable.
It was really
great.
cool.
Oh, she's great. She to be able to do that on her own time, to be able to donate those was pretty amazing. So.
No, it's awesome you're doing that, because I know a lot of school districts, it's hard. When I was in school, they just paid for everything. But I know as like the years have gone by, even because I went through Nashua, and then it became like pay to play. It gets up there.
I mean, I have kids, my own kids that play sports, and it's expensive. Remember, like when I was in school, I didn't pay for anything. I'm like, I never paid for a sport. Now you have to pay. You have to dish out like $150 for this, $100 for this. You have to pay for this, and it's just like it's definitely different than when I went to school. So.
Yeah, same. It was just we took it for granted, I guess.
Yeah, definitely different.
And I think I know the answer to this, but I just got to ask, what motivates you as a coach?
I mean, just seeing the kids succeed. Like I said, growing up in Chelsea, I didn't have much. I didn't even have a dad. My mother was just more of like someone that was like more of a friend. I got a chance to do whatever I wanted. Like it was. If I didn't want to go to school, I didn't have to go to school. Like if I had no bedtime. I could kind of do whatever I wanted, and I could have chose a path where, like, especially if you're a kid that like myself, that grew up in the projects and didn't have much. Like I could have kind of veered off to like, being a punk or getting into drugs, and I think sports really helped me kind of like never do drugs. I've never drank, so it's kind of like sports kind of got me to where I needed to. So to be able to give back. To see the same kids that are going through what I went through, to see them succeed like I did is just like it's the most rewarding thing. To be able to see a kid that like doesn't have a father, doesn't really have a mother, like is living kind of the way that I did. To see them be successful is like awesome. It's like an amazing feeling,
And that's I think a lot of people get lost in why sports are important. Mm-hmm. Like you said, that's what kept you doing what you needed to do.
Kept me right on the road that I needed to be on to be successful. And there's a lot of people that have been in my situation, and they might have taken a left turn, and now either they're not doing so well, or they're whatever they've gone through in their life. But definitely sports, like for me, just definitely kept me like straight and narrow, and you definitely meet a lot of people doing that and stuff. So it was good. It's a great way to like network as well too. So, and for me, like if I see the kids do, or be successful, it's just an unbelievable feeling. Like I don't care that we win or lose, but if you win in life, it's all that I want. I don't want anything else. So.
Now, what do you do? Would you say to motivate players?
To motivate the players, I do a lot of swearing. No,
Did you see the Marshawn Lynch thing?
Yeah, I see that. It's like one of the Karens.
Yeah.
To be able to motivate the players, I just tell the players, like, listen, like, this is your city. You're representing your city. You're representing your coaching staff. A lot of our kids, like I said, won't go to college. They're not going to play college baseball. So, like, I tell them, like, every inning that you go out and play, make that like your last inning, because you just never know. And that kind of seems to, be the trick, especially when I start talking about the city and like where they grew up. Like, it's good for me because these kids know. Like, so a kid on my team can't come and tell me, Coach, you don't know what I'm going through. Like, you can't be like, well, Coach, you don't know what I'm going through. You've never lived it. Everything they've ever gone through, I've already experienced it already. So I think the kids respect that. So when I start talking about the city and how much I love the city and how much it means to, like, represent your city, they definitely get motivated on their own, because they love the city, and every time I talk about Chelsea, I always, when I talk to the kids, I always get emotional because, like, it's a city that, like, it took me in, and it taught me about life. It taught me about just different things that I needed to learn to be successful. So when I start talking about the city with the kids, and this is your city, and no one comes into your city and disrespects you, like, they get pretty fired up pretty quick.
No, and when you are a kid, though, like I remember, in Nashville, I was always I'm so proud that I grew up in Nashua. And I just remember just having those letters on your shirt was like,
nothing like it. There's nothing like it, and that's why, like the sponsors that we have, or some of the donations. I try to get a lot of gear for the kids, like whether it's a sweatshirt or a jacket or like hats, because there's no better feeling. Like you said, being in Nashua, or me growing up in Chelsea, like I wanted to wear nothing but Chelsea stuff, or you want to wear nothing but Nashua stuff. It's the same exact thing. You're proud to like say where you're from, so it's nice to be able to have things like that.
Nice. Now, where do you see the program kind of going in years to come?
I mean, I think if we just continue to keep working hard, a big thing for Chelsea is like, and I don't know if this was like in Nashua or some other places, but like, to be successful coming down the line or going down the line or years to come, I think you have to have like a good youth sport program.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like Chelsea kind of lacks right now. Not that it's a bad thing. I don't think it's not that it's run bad. It's not that it's, the right person's not doing it. I just don't think we have the numbers right now to be able to have like a youth program. But I think that's where it starts. I think if these kids that I have now that are freshmen, they're going to continue to work hard. So I see us like winning games and being successful like we are now. But if we can get the youth program to really take off and really get kids passionate about the game and loving baseball and sports, I think we can be better, a lot longer than the next 3 or 4 years, because we have freshmen, so
yeah, the youth programs are always so important.
Huge.
I think they've shrunk a little bit over the years, and I don't know why. I'm not one of those people that's like, it's society, I don't think it's just the iPads or anything like that. I don't know how that stuff works.
I think it's like, it could be like different sports. I mean, like, for us, like baseball was like huge, like as kids, and then all of a sudden, like it started like becoming like lacrosse. Like now you get like all the kids that were playing baseball, like, nope, I want to do lacrosse instead. So I think it's like other sports that are like becoming more popular that kids are wanting to do, So, or if not, it's like the AAU circuit is like really kind of getting crazy. Like, you're playing volleyball all year long, or you're playing like, football all year long. I mean, like the sports that we played in high school, it's like you have your season and then you go into the next season.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can play volleyball all year long, all year. Or you can play like baseball like in the winter, like indoors somewhere. Or you can do, football, like flag football every day, all day, So I think it's like the sports, the life of sports are like a lot longer now. It's not like cut to a season where you're moving on to the next season for something,
Well, I want to ask you this, because when I coached wrestling, I always would tell the kids, like, you don't just have to be a wrestler. You should do other sports. Do you think that's really important? As someone that played a lot of sports,
yeah.
I think you're right. There is this like part of, society that's like, tell the kids, nope, you're just going to play this and you're going to play it year round. Which I think, when you're young, that's the only time in your life you're going to be able to do anything and everything you want.
Yeah.
You think that's really important?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. So my son plays high school baseball right now, and he's a hardworking kid, and he's doing well. He's just had a great season, right? But his season was so good last year that he got invited to do like a couple showcases and a couple national tournaments. And so when you go to these events, the coaches, like Division I coaches, typically like they'll talk to the kids. They'll have like the parents, or they'll have like the kids like in a meeting hall, and they'll talk to the kids. And there was like 5 coaches, everyone from like Virginia, Coastal Carolina, Vanderbilt, big Power 5 schools, and they all said the same thing. They all said that they recruit athletes that play multiple sports and not just one sport. And they said, and I always agreed with it too, but like when you play one sport, like that helps you with another sports. Like if you play football, you're getting stronger, you're getting quicker, you're in the weight room, like that's gonna lead to baseball or to basketball. Now basketball, you're working on your footwork, you're working on your quickness, you're working on different things. Now to when it comes to baseball, you're working things. So I think each sport definitely helps each other. But yeah, I mean, if I could, I did in high school, but my kids have to play multiple sports. They're not allowed just to play one sport, not in my house anyway. So you have to play a sport in that season. So it doesn't matter what it is, you have to play.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty strict with that. You have to play multiple things. You can't stick to one sport.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, like there's no, one day you're going to be an adult, and the window closes to do those things.
It's over. I try to tell, and that's why I try to tell these kids, like even at Chelsea High School, I'm like, guys, don't take this for granted. Play every inning, play every out like it's like your last. Give it the best that you have, because you know what? When this is it, you're going to work, and you'll be working the rest of your life. It's going to be done.
Yeah.
Like sports-wise,
Yeah.
high school sport-wise. So it's like, just appreciate it, And so it goes quick.
It really does.
I mean, I can remember being in college, and I'm like, I thought I was on top of the world, right? You thought you were on top of the world, and it's like, it doesn't work that way. You shut your eyes, you wake up, and you're like, oh my God, I'm in my mid-30s. What am I doing?
What's next? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then you just get addicted to softball.
Yeah, exactly right.
We had a comment from Facebook. Dan, Mike is doing a fantastic job rebuilding the Chelsea High School baseball team. Very proud of Mike. Sean O'Pegan. You know Sean?
I do, yeah. I know Sean. Yep, Sean O'Regan is...
Regan, sorry.
Yep, so Sean, he gives back to the community of Chelsea. He actually coaches a lot of youth sports in Chelsea. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. But he's a guy that's like, he's a Chelsea guy. He's coached tackle football, Pop Warner. He's coached Little League. He coaches anything that he can get his hands into, he coaches. And I play in a softball league in Chelsea, and that he's a part of. He coaches as well there too. So I appreciate that comment, and it's definitely nice to hear that sometimes when the hard work that you put in, or the commitment level that you have, and when it doesn't go unnoticed, it's just nice to hear that. So I appreciate that comment. That was really nice.
No, absolutely, and they need guys like him and you in these communities to make these things work. A lot of people don't understand, like. Even if you coach, high school baseball, it's not a giant stipend where it is basically a volunteer job.
But yeah, basically, I mean, with all the think about gas money and your travel time, and again, so kind of what I do with my money, something like a lot of the times or most years is I kind of give it back to the kids. We'll do pizza parties or the Red Sox, or we'll do different activities. Well, I'm the one that pays for that. So, but it's nice, when you have people like Sean that are willing to give back and then don't complain, because you've probably dealt with this where people will complain about youth sports. I was like, well, if you're complaining, why don't you volunteer your time?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't complain if you're sitting there and you're complaining about the youth sports, but you're not giving any time of your own. So it's a little bit of give and take here for that. But yeah, that was a great comment. Sean's a great guy. He's a big time Chelsea guy, and I appreciate that for sure. That was nice.
Nice. Now, I had a question that I was just kind of interested in, because your son is a pretty successful athlete at the level that he's at. What's the difference between watching as a parent and watching as a coach?
I think as a parent, I can kind of sit back and relax and enjoy it, right? But then when I watch him as a coach, I'm breaking down every swing.
Yeah.
I'm breaking down every throw. I'm breaking down things that he could have did better, things that he did great. But it stinks, watching your kid play, because sometimes I don't have that ability to be able to want to watch as a parent, because I've been so hard on him his whole life. So I always watch, I watch as a parent and I'll enjoy it, right? I'll give him a hug and a kiss as a parent. But then as a coach, I'm well, you need to do this better. You need to, maybe make this adjustment. You need to maybe do this better. So it's nice being a coach, because I can watch it both, both sides. As a parent, hugging him and kissing him, saying, hey, you did great. Then when that gets turned off, it's hey, as a coach, hey, well, you could have did this better. You should have did that better, So.
Now, did you coach him when he was younger?
I did, yeah. I coached his little league team, and I coached him up until he was, I want to say 13.
Okay.
After little league, I was, I don't want to be that father that's that coaches him in everything.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to I don't want him, or I don't want to be the guy that's going to coach him until he's in high school. For what? I want other coaches to see him, and there's other people out there that are more knowledgeable than I am that can kind of give him, some good help, or give him something that he might, a different tool, instead of hearing it from me. I'm dad.
Yeah.
How many times can I tell him without him starting to block me out? So. I stopped at 13. When he was 13, he became a teenager, and I just stopped coaching. I just kind of just watched.
I think that's a good thing, honestly. A lot of parents. How was that, coaching your own son?
I mean, honestly, Dan, it's it wasn't really anything different. It was I coach my son, or if I coach my senior at Chelsea High School, I treat them the exact same, like they were my own. I just I'm intense. there's no such thing as perfection when you're coaching, or we know that, when you're playing. But like, I try to get as close as possible, and I would ride him, I'd ride him and get after him. And, sometimes did it hurt me? Possibly, yeah, because I was on him so much and then he just shut me off, but then I'd have to dial it back and then be dad, right? I'd have to hug him, kiss him, console him, be like, all right, dude, you got it. But I mean, he's the one who made the commitment years ago when he was 10 and saying that he wanted me to, get after him no matter what, So I kind of stuck to that, and I mean, he turned out to be pretty successful so far. So,
do you think that you, like, your passion for sports kind of influenced your kids' passions for it too?
Yeah, I think so. I think, at a young age, you're going to sporting events, and people don't realize how important that is. Is like when you're a young kid, like going with your dad or your family to go to your first Red Sox game, or like your first Bruins game, first Celtics game, or first Pats game, right? Like that's huge, And then when you start getting into sports and they start competing, it definitely it didn't take that much time. Once they went to their first games, they were like involved and ready to go. It was easy for me, so I didn't have to beg them to play.
Because when I was a kid, I remember I wanted to play soccer because everybody was playing soccer. And I played for 1 year, and my dad said, nope, you're playing baseball. And I hated baseball
Smart
at first.
guy.
I did. And now I'm like, now here I am almost 40. I play softball. I've never stopped. I know
great.
baseball and softball are the same idea, but you know what I mean?
It's a great game, and to be able to get into it, it's fun, especially when you love the sport. I think that's what it is with, with my kids, or even with the Chelsea kids. My first thing that you have to do is be able to love the sport first. If you love the sport, then you're going to work hard as you can. If you don't really love the sport, you're not going to work that hard because you don't really care about the sport. So you have to fall in love with the sport first in order to get the work in. So that's kind of like what I did with my kids. What sport do you want to play? Whatever sport you want to play, you have to love it. You got to be in love with it. If you're in love with it, you'll do anything to be the best that you can be, and you'll do anything for the sport. So I was lucky they fell in love with sports really early, which was nice. So
yeah, no, that's awesome, and I think that relationship, with them, that's just so important.
It's great. I mean, it's just like a lot of times, I've done a lot of trips with my kids. So if my oldest son would go to all these national showcases in New Jersey or Georgia, that's father-son time. So you can't beat that. Or my middle son, he'll do basketball camps down the Cape or different places. I'll take him, so it's father-son time. My daughter dances. I don't really know much about kids. So it's that's tough for me. I don't really know anything about it. So, but it's just a nice opportunity to spend some father-son time when it comes to sports.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I guess I was on a podcast the other day with Brandon Belanger. Shout out to Brandon. He kind of asked, because I'm a pretty busy guy. You're a pretty busy guy. And he asked, how do you balance everything? And I didn't know how to answer it. So I got to ask you, because you do a lot. How do you balance everything?
I mean, it's a great question. I don't think I do well at balancing stuff, to be honest with you, especially when it comes to coaching. Because again, baseball is not the only sport that I coach at Chelsea.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I also coach basketball, which is in the winter. Then I also coach fall baseball, which is going to be starting up in September. So we have a middle school baseball team that I coach. But I mean, I think to be able to, balance my time, after a long day of work, after each session or each season is over, I have about a month for myself. And a lot of times, I have a steam room at home, and I usually 45 minutes a day in the steam room. That just kind of helps me relax and take a lot of things off my mind, So I'm not really good at balancing my time because I stay busy especially with the kids, sports. Again, with my own sports too. I love playing softball too, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of I'm always on the go. But that's how I grew up that way, and I've been that way my whole life, on the go, 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 go. So I've been trying to do a better job recently, the last several months, of every day giving 45 minutes to the steam room just to be able to relax, clear my mind, and it's actually been really good. Actually, it's nice and relaxing,
Nice, yeah. It's important that time to just kind of mellow out.
Just relax, I'm on the go all the time, 100 miles an hour, So
now I got to ask this because we talked about this in the last episode. You played professional basketball overseas.
I did.
What was kind of the most wild thing that you saw playing?
I mean, I think the most wild thing is I played in Mexico, right? I played in Mexico City. All over, when you play, when you played in Poland and Germany, there's different leagues when you play in these countries. So you have the A League, which is guys that get that played in the NBA, right? That stopped playing in the NBA, and now they're playing in the A League, or they're playing in the B League, they're playing in the C League. So like when I played in Germany and Poland, like I was like more of like a C League player. I mean, there were still crowds that would show up, but it wasn't as like crazy as like a big time like A League game. But when I was in Mexico, I played in the A League, and I think the craziest thing that I've ever seen was so we're in a stadium like in Mexico City, and like as the game was going off, so we had like our crowd on one side, and then their crowd was like on the other side. And during the game, they were shooting fireworks off at each other from crowd to from crowd, like trying to hit each other from crowd to crowd. So we're trying to play. Yeah. Fireworks are going off. Like our stands are trying to hit. Our fans are trying to hit their fans. Their fans are hitting like trying to hit our fans. Are like, we're ducking, and there's just fireworks going back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. So like obviously they had to they had to delay the game, had to get the smoke out of the arena. They had to like clean it up, but like that's probably one of the craziest things I've ever experienced. It's like just you're trying to play as fireworks are going off. Then people are lighting fires, and like it was just a chaotic thing. Yeah, it was something I've never seen before.
That's wild. Because what if you got hit while you're trying to play?
But the worst part of it is I think they played like 2 minutes like as the fireworks were going off, so they didn't stop the game right away. We're trying to play, and it's like boom, boom, and I was like, well, it was just nuts. It was like probably the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So it's
awesome.
like how crazy is that?
What
you know what I mean? Like, but it's like I don't even know if we won the firework fight. I have no idea. It's just, I hope we won the fight. I don't know. Like, no clue.
I gotta ask this other question. I go sometimes down these Instagram rabbit holes, and there's a guy on there who's 33, and he's trying to play professional basketball at 33. I think he played D3.
Okay.
And they're like, you're not going to make the NBA. He's like, I'm not trying to make the NBA. He said, I'm just trying to make a pro team. What would you tell someone trying to play at a pro level? Not necessarily the NBA, but kind of like what you did. Like, is it obtainable, or what do you have to do to get there?
Absolutely, it's attainable if he just continues to work hard and like believe himself. There's been plenty of times where like I would play, and I've heard from like coaches or other players like, oh, you'll never make it. What are you doing? But I never let that bother me at all. I just continue to keep working hard. It doesn't matter your age. If you have a chance to ever talk to this kid, you can personally tell him, I've seen players that I've played against and with that weren't even as good or couldn't even compete, and they've played like overseas. One thing about overseas basketball that's good is there's so many leagues and so many countries in the world, you can definitely get paid to play. Like I remember when I first started playing, I think I made like $1,200 a month. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was just for the exposure to build film. So my agent's like, Mike, you're only gonna make like $1,800 a month, but we're doing this for you to create film and create, get stats, get a stat sheet to get you up to the next level. So like if this 33-year-old guy is working hard and he believes in himself, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Just continue to keep working hard and do what you got to do. Listen, if I was 33 right now, I'd probably continue to try to work hard to play somewhere overseas still at 33. Okay. Especially if he's a guy that's like wants to do it. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. Who cares? Doesn't matter. As long as you believe in yourself, he can definitely get there. Does not matter. He's
getting a lot of hate in the comments that I've noticed. But now I'm kind of rooting for him because all these online trolls. Well, and stuff.
Of course there's gonna be hate. There's always hate. That's everyone. Like instead of everyone like cheering for each other and being positive with each other, you're gonna get that one or two people that are gonna troll or hate a bunch of people, whoever it may be. But if he stays the course and he continues to work hard, there should be no reason why he can't play overseas somewhere. Doesn't matter the age.
And I got to ask this because that you have played at a high level. Like, what were the athletes that inspired you growing up?
Like professional athletes?
Or it could be professional.
Yeah, I think the biggest athlete that I loved the most was my dad.
Okay.
So my dad was a professional athlete. It was like he played with the Minnesota Twins. He played with the Cincinnati Reds, and the work ethic that he put in, it was just like he was the type of guy, Dan, that could pick up like a ping pong paddle and be good at it right away.
Yeah.
He was a guy that could pick up a golf club and shoot under 100 for the first time. He was so athletic and just like the thing that I loved about him the most is like he was just like a great guy. Like it didn't matter. Like he was successful in baseball. He had to get to the majors. It was pretty impressive, right? But he was just like a humbling guy. He was just a normal guy, and everyone like he knew everybody just through sports. Like everyone would come to him and ask him about sports and this and that. Like all the people that were came around him was just something that I loved seeing. And I can never forget. I'll never forget this. Like so, the Minnesota Twins were playing in Boston one year, and he was at the game. And after the game, my grandmother, I'm a guy that's like, I'm half Mexican, half Italian. So my mother's side and my grandmother's side and my father's side, like more Mexican, And she was like, she would always cook Mexican food, just good food. Everyone came over to eat. But I'll never forget the day that the Minnesota Twins came, after the game, like. A couple of my father's friends came to the house. One was like Kirby Puckett.
Oh, geez.
Frank Viola.
Yeah.
Randy Bush. They all came to my grandmother's house to like eat, and we had like a big meal there, and like she cooked them all this Mexican food while they were here in Boston. That's amazing. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
I was at Kirby Puckett's Hall of Fame induction. We went when we used to go every year, and I loved Kirby.
He was unbelievable. I mean, obviously before the sight issues, but he was just he was like unbelievable. He was just a great, like just a good guy,
Yeah, it was tough because when I was a kid, we used to watch the Braves. I was a Red Sox fan, but the Braves were like the number 2 because they were always on. He was a killer for them.
They were America's team.
Yeah,
the Braves were America's team.
I know Tom Brady went in to the Patriots Hall of Fame yesterday. Did you get to see any of that?
I didn't really. The only thing that I saw was I'm Tom Brady and I'm a Patriot. And people went crazy and ballistic. That's all that I seen. I didn't get a chance to watch.
So the number's gonna be retired, which we kind of knew.
I did see that.
And the statue.
Yep, correct.
I can't wait to see the statue because we don't have anybody that's out at Gillette.
It should be the size of a mountain, for what he did.
I said on Facebook, I said, this world is billions of years old, and we were blessed here in New England living the same time that Tom Brady did. It was just unbelievable.
He's the best.
You think the Celtics sweep?
Watching that game last night, Dan, to not have Porzingis is like, he was great in the paint. He's a shot blocker. Even if he's not blocking a shot, he's deflecting a shot, or just he's making an offensive guy kind of change his shot. This is a big guy, a 7-footer that's shooting threes. He spreads the floor, so I think not having him hurt, but I like Dallas. I like Dallas for on Friday or tomorrow. I do. I like Dallas to win one, and then we win it back at home. I think that I think Luka will be a little bit smarter of a player and not follow it with 5 minutes left or four minutes left. That was huge. But he doesn't play defense anyway, so it's kind of he's like a half and half defensive guy. He's just like Olay. So, but I think that Kyrie's going to come out and he's going to come out and have a big game. I think they win on Friday.
Okay. Can you believe that? Because for me, I can't say that I follow the Celtics like I used to. As I've gotten older, it's just been like I'm more into like a sport that's once a week, just to be honest.
True.
But like I remember when it didn't, Garnett went down in 2009, then didn't win in 2010. Then it was like, how are they going to rebuild this when the big 3 left and everything? And the Celtics have been good the last couple of years. Can you believe that like Banner 18 is like literally one game away? Like.
I think I like it more because to have been 18 is like the Celtics are like the number one.
Because I remember they got tied in 2020.
Right now, right?
Yeah.
So like I just want them to win it because I want like the Celtics to be on top of everything.
Yeah.
I have this debate all the time, and I think you'll appreciate this too. Is like everyone always has this debate about Michael Jordan being the best, right? And so anytime everyone says like Michael Jordan is the best because of his championships, like then you look at like other people like from the Celtics, like. What's the Celtics guy? What's his name? Oh gosh, I can't. He was 8-0 in championships.
Russell.
Russell or the point guard. What's his name? It'll come to me in a minute. But like the conversations that people have, like Michael Jordan's the best because he had all these championships and he's never lost. Well, there's like 2 or 3 guys on the Celtics that were 8-0 and never lost. So we can't really talk about championships, right? But then you have the talent level. In my opinion, I love Jordan. He's one of my favorite players. Larry Bird being my favorite player, but like LeBron James is like an unbelievable athlete. At 6'8", 260, 270, that can move the way that he does and pass the way he does and shoot the way he does. Is like we have the debate that Jordan right now would average 50 in the NBA right now, and I think that's totally false.
I think that he's got the nostalgia thing. And I think, a lot of people, they're going to look back and didn't appreciate LeBron because they just hated him for every little thing.
Of course.
That kid came from nothing and, got to the NBA, obviously. And then I think people, they always get mad about the decision, which that money did go to the Boys and Girls Club.
Of course.
And I think people just have always wanted to hate him because he came in with so much hype and all that. And I think they discredit him because of that passion for Jordan. But Jordan never beat those Celtics teams.
No. I mean, it's funny. Like Isaiah Thomas was on First Take about 2 weeks ago, and he said the exact same thing. He goes, in the 80s, Jordan never beat the Pistons. He never beat the Celtics, right? And Jordan didn't start winning until like Scottie Pippen came on the team.
Who's like one of my all-time favorites.
And then you had like Dennis Rodman, right? You had these guys that like helped. But they weren't winning in the 80s. Right? I mean, so it's kind of like, and I love Jordan. I'm never saying nothing about Jordan, but I think Jordan was like such the biggest face to NBA that like everyone loves him because it's Michael Jordan, And I just think, seeing like LeBron James and the athleticism now in the NBA, it's not the same as in the 90s.
No.
Like Michael Jordan killed in the 90s, but I don't think he would kill today. The athleticism is just off the charts in the NBA.
And I mean, LeBron's won with different coaches, different players. I give him, Jordan. It was a formula there.
Put it this way, Dan. At 18 years old, right? What were you doing at 18 years old?
I was graduating when LeBron was.
Right. So 18 years you graduated. At 18 years, I think I was like hanging out, just walking around the street.
I was at community college.
Right. So I think about being 18 years old. He came in as the chosen one, right, with all the pressure. I mean, this is a guy that like has changed the game. You've never really heard of, LeBron James ever getting in trouble. No. You never heard him like cheating, stealing, being an idiot, drinking and driving. You never heard LeBron James doing any of that stuff. So to be a kid that had nothing at 18 years old and have like the world the world on your shoulders and just succeed and do well and not have anything wrong, like I don't know.
That's the thing, and he's never been afraid to stand up for like social justice or any of that stuff. Jordan stayed away from all that stuff. Of course, yeah. And I it is what it is, but I think that I loved Michael Jordan as a kid, but I liked Pippen better. I had the Pippen poster because he was like, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah.
But that debate is, I just think there's, like we said, there's a lot of haters. And
it's everyone has their, what they want to say, but sometimes it's just like, they don't want to accept that Jordan really wouldn't do as well as everyone's saying.
And not for anything, but LeBron was 22 when he got to the finals with a team of people that you probably can't name off the top of your head.
No, you cannot.
Want to get into buy or sell? Just tell me if you're buying or selling.
Oh, yes.
First one, he was a Celtic. We got bad blood there, but Kyrie Irving.
I'll buy Kyrie. He's awesome. I mean, he's just such a great player. He's like, the things that he did for the Cavs and LeBron, when he was younger playing, he just probably one of the best point guards to ever play the game. So I'm gonna buy Kyrie. I mean, I was a little bit upset with him when he stomped on Lucky.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think he's 0-10 now. Since
16 or 13.
0-13 since he stepped on Lucky.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit upset with him, but as a basketball player, I'll buy him. And then I also love the fact that he was against the COVID shot. Everyone in the NBA took a COVID shot except him. He didn't want to do it, and he actually sat because of it. And that's something that you feel that you don't need a COVID shot or you don't want to do it. Kudos to you for not doing what not doing what everybody else was doing. So I'll buy him.
2024 Patriots. We don't really anything early there. That
I'm selling. No,
selling.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't know yet. I mean, it's just too early to tell.
I know you did a lot of this in the winter. I might have asked this before, but I can't remember. Indoor softball.
I'm buying it. It's the best. It's fun. It's fun when you're with your friends and you're having a good time. You're indoors playing with your friends and having a good time, and like a lot of Lush laughs and stuff, and it's fun. I buy into it. I like it.
It's a good way to get through the winter.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you something to do.
Yeah.
Not to mention, if a ball gets hit at you 100 miles an hour, it's not going to come off your face with bad hops or anything else. It's just nice turf. So I will buy indoor softball.
Youth sports.
Buy. I talked about it. You have to have good youth sports. Like a lot of these programs in these other towns that are successful in sports, their youth programs are awesome. They start they're practicing at at a young age, like what varsity players are doing. Like they're practicing at 10 years old doing what varsity does. So the time when they get to that level of that team, they already know what they're doing. So I will buy youth sports. Need it.
Absolutely. It's so important to just once you get to high school and all that, like you need a feeder program.
Yeah, exactly right. Definitely 100%.
Well, I know I already asked one question about this, but I'm going to ask another one. Drake May, from what you know so far.
Sell.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, for right now, yeah. Yep.
I mean, that was all they really could get because they didn't, the number, they didn't get number.
Did you not want to, I mean, I don't know, would you not want to trade to get like a veteran?
I don't know. I feel like you need the future, but man, I kind of knew Mac Jones wasn't going to work out, but I really wanted it to.
He had that stretch there where he they were booing him and stuff. I was like, oh, it's over now, and then obviously then you had like Zappy come in or some of the other guys that like looked okay, like well he's doing the exact same thing. I'm gonna sell May for right now. I'm praying that I could buy him soon.
I was at the game where they started with the Bears game when they started chanting for Zappy, and I thought, I think that was mismanagement too. But I will say there was a time in 2021 where they were winning a string of games. I went to so many games that year, and I was like, "Are we back? Like, are we back?" And then it fizzled. Yeah. It fizzled fast, and that got blown out by the Bills in the playoffs. Tournament softball.
I'll buy tournament softball. It's awesome. It's like it gets the blood flowing. And I play with Jimmy Schaefer and the Shamrocks, and they're a good group. It's a good group of guys, and it's fun. It's nice sometimes to be able to see like young kids come up and play softball. That they're learning the game. And so someone like me as a veteran, I love seeing young kids come up and playing. And tournament softball is fun, especially when you get to travel and you get to stay over with some of the guys, or say you go to Connecticut or you're going to like Worlds, right? In Florida, and you spend 4 or 5 days with like the guys. It's just fun. You build a lot of team camaraderie, and it's just a good time,
Yeah.
So
is that C level?
No, I'm D level actually. I got dropped down. Yeah, I reclassed, which was nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reclass there, but that's all.
It's always a crazy thing, but I had to write a letter and had to get reclassed, and I didn't get reclassed last year. They denied it.
Yeah.
So then.
Because I've seen you play, you're up there.
No,
I don't think I've seen you make an error yet since I've seen you.
I appreciate that. No, you know what? It was nice. When I started playing softball like 10, 15 years ago, I played with this team called the Bull Trippers out of Pennsylvania. They were actually ranked A. So we played in stadiums and we did different things. And so when I came home, I remember I played in a tournament just to help out, and I remember I had to show my license. And halfway through the tournament, they actually called the guy over from the team. We had to forfeit games because you can't I didn't know I didn't know divisions or classes back then, but I'm D now, so I'm happy. They denied me last year, but I'm good this year to play, and I like playing D's because there's a lot more local tournaments, and I get to see a lot more people that I like.
I think the
higher that you go, you have to travel to Florida or Ohio or anywhere different places. You're not even in Mass or New Hampshire, so. Get me down. Yeah,
because when we were on the Tatas, I was because I didn't know you at the time. I was like, where did Katie find this guy? He's making everything.
That was a great tournament. Yeah. It was a good tournament. Yeah, she did it. She did a nice job of running that team. So
yeah, Katie's good people.
She's a great person.
I got to ask this. I've met him a couple times. I like him a lot. Yeah. He's a character. I know that I think he might have even helped you coach a little bit. I know you're playing for him, Jimmy Schaefer.
Yeah, I buy Jimmy. Yeah, he's great. Jimmy, so I've known Jimmy when I first started playing 20 years ago. So I was Jimmy, so Jimmy was me, and then I was this young kid coming up, Jimmy took me under his wing, and I started playing with him in Peabody with this team called Nico. And actually, believe it or not, Jimmy was actually the starting shortstop.
Oh, really? Okay.
So he played short, and then I played second. And then as Jimmy got older, he moved to second, I went to short. But yeah, Jimmy was my assistant coach for 3 years at Chelsea.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture.
Yep,
yeah.
I took him on, and Jimmy knows the game of baseball. He gets crazy, but I feel it's more it's not crazy, it's passion. He's definitely passionate. He was a great coach for the kids, and he knew a lot about baseball, and he definitely helped out. But yeah, I'd buy Jimmy all day.
Yeah, I met him in Canaan last year, and I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah, he's got the voice and stuff. Yeah. You get the voice matches his face. He's a good guy. I've known him a long time, and I'm glad that I got a chance to play for Jimmy now for his team. So it's nice.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We'll do this again. Everybody out there, have a great week. We'll have episodes during the summer. There's going to be a little more sporadic, but keep your heads up. And until next time, let freedom ring. Bye.